So I am so glad that I skipped my AMC Screen Unseen screening and went to go see A Real Pain instead because this movie was so good and it was anything but a real pain. It was a real delight and I really liked it. If you haven't heard about this movie, it basically follows Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg as two cousins who have reunited to go on a tour of Poland where their grandmother used to live after her passing. They kind of use this as a way to honor her memory, but also to reconnect as people because they've gone on their separate paths. They used to be attached at the hip, and now they're kind of developing their own lives, and it kind of follows the toll that kind of takes on Kieran Culkin's character. We learn a lot more about him and just his own life's journey and why this trip is so important to him and to Jesse Eisenberg's character. They're both so opposite. It's like the odd couple on like steroids, and it's so fun to see. But it also, I think, beyond just like the comedic nature of having these two opposing forces join together for this like shared mission, there is so much more about how people explore pain and how people occupy the space in this world that I really liked about this movie. Jesse Eisenberg's character is someone who every I'll just say this: every monologue that Jesse Eisenberg's character had made me cry because I feel like he was speaking about me, or he was speaking just like my language. Because so much of his character is about not becoming a burden to others and about trying to be there for those around him, but also just take up as little space as possible, which I think is a very common way that a lot of people do kind of process their pain, or they kind of internalize it and it makes them shut off from the world and they kind of dive deeper inwards. And so here in comes Kieran Culkin's character, who is the complete opposite in the way that he expresses his pain and his struggles, which is very externally. He's very much looking for connection and validation from others, which is really interesting dynamic. But and there's like a pull, like a little tango that happens between them because Kieran Culkin really wants to connect, and that's like what he wants. He draws people towards him, and Jesse Eisenberg's character is very much inside of him, so he poses kind of a challenge for Kieran Culkin. And then they both kind of help each other navigate better ways to communicate their feelings and their emotions towards each other, towards life, towards pain. And yeah, this movie is just so good. Will Sharpe also has like a smaller supporting role as tour guide. And all I kept thinking about when he was on screen was blah blah blah, proper place, like that TikTok thing. But he does a great job. All of the cast is really, they all do a really great job. But this really is Jesse Eisenberg's voice through and through. And I think that comes across really clear, not just the language and the dialogue of the characters, but also just the structure of the story. Jesse Eisenberg, as if you're not a fan of him, you can tell he has he's a very quirky individual, has a lot of different traits and characteristics that are very unique to him, and a lot of them which I can relate to. But he's also OCD. His character is OCD in the script, and he's talked about that in a lot of interviews. And I think that the structure of this film, it starts off, it's a, what is it called, a palindrome, right? It's essentially a palindrome of a film. It starts off the way that it ends, and just that whole journey of the script is so like neatly tight, and a lot of the elements in this film are so meticulously written and meticulously directed and crafted, and everything is so intentional, and there's a purpose to everything and an organization to everything that I think, I don't know if this is like something that was on top of the mind when he wrote this and when he directed it, but it really comes across, and you can tell that this is very much unique to his voice. And he has I relate a lot to the way that he thinks about the world, the way that he sees himself. He's a lot more honest, I would say, and I think that comes with age and with experience and just honing your craft and learning about yourself as an individual, which I think really shines through here. And his performance touched me the most because, like I said, it felt like I was seeing myself up there in a lot of different ways. Kind of that challenge and that balance of accepting yourself, loving yourself, but also seeing someone like his cousin right here, played by Kieran Culkin, who he does an amazing job. I'll get to him in just a second. But seeing him be kind of the life of any room. He lights up a room when he walks in. He's so charismatic. People are drawn to him. And he doesn't have that same innate ability, yet he is so much more grounded and he is so much more put together, or at least that's what it would seem like. And it really, for the most part, he is a little bit more put together and more of a stable person. But it's that instability and that charismatic nature that he kind of craves a little bit, which I think is really interesting journey that the film takes you on. But yeah, Kieran Culkin, you can start writing his name on the Best Supporting Actor Oscar like right now and save yourself some time, because he just like knocks it out of the park with this film. I know there's like a little controversy being like, is he lead? Is he supporting? I think he is supporting for the most part. It is. I can understand why some people would lean the other way, but I do think that this film is more about bringing Jesse Eisenberg out of his shell. It is a kind of a balance, but I think that it just, the vibe of it feels more like Jesse Eisenberg is like the eyes and the eyes of this story, and maybe that's because I relate to his character a little bit more. But yeah, I think he does a great job at supporting him on that journey, but also having his own character, and seeing how, we all know people who are charismatic, who as soon as they walk into a room, people's attention are drawn to them, and you don't really know the pain that they feel. And I think that his character wears his heart on his sleeve. He's like the inside out version of Jesse Eisenberg, where all of his emotions are on the outside, but the real him is trapped a little bit within him. It's just such a great dynamic that they have, and a great journey that the film takes you on. And I really liked it. If you haven't seen The Real Pain, I would highly recommend it. Bring some tissues, because it will make you feel things. And yeah, those were my thoughts on Real Pain. I hope you see it, and when you see it, come back here and let me know what you think about it, because I would love to continue this conversation. And do you agree that Kieran Culkin's, like, at this point, a lock for me? I still have Denzel Washington, who I have not seen in Gladiator 2, but he seems like a front runner to me, and that category is pretty wide open right now, so we'll see what happens.